I got invites. Are you,
my phone is
ready?
Almost, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's very difficult without a monitor to do a lecture, so be patient a little bit more.
What was the one you weren't confident of?
Okay.
What was the move you weren't confident of yesterday?
So I was playing Mac on Gaia, and I was down to like 1.5 seconds. And Mac
Stu, do
won
you see it there?
5-1, and he slot the 5 point. I think it was DMT or like 2 away, 2 away. So he wrote 5-1 in the opening, and he plays down to the 5 and 1 to slot the 5 point. Then I was 6-3. Sure.
The stream started. Let me just do a brief introduction and we'll do this.
Sure. Okay.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the stream. We're at the Los Angeles Open 2025. My name is Alex Asagi, and we're streaming with my good friend, Backgammon Super Grandmaster World #1. Great guest, Mochi. He's going to discuss how to play the second role of the game. Welcome. The microphone is here, and you just tap there.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's a good idea to turn off the phone now. All right, so I already made some introduction. We're going to talk about the second role of the game. The why we should run. Oh, is it showing?
It's over there. It's on the other one.
Oh, wow.
It's over there, but they see exactly what you see. We're gonna try to fix that, but they see the same thing as here.
Yeah, that's a little bit.
We're gonna fix it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, second roll happens like, yes.
How'd you play your 6-3?
How did I play 6-3? I played 24-15. I ran all the way, and it was right. You know, I was wondering maybe stay back on 18 and play down with a 3, but yeah. Yeah, so the second roll of the game, it happens every game. So you don't want to make any mistakes on the second roll, or any major mistakes at least. And also, if you run second roll, you can apply same theory or same rule or same sense of the game can be applied in the later stage of the game as well. So not only learning the second roll, you can also learning the theory of the opening stage of the game. So that's why the learning second roll is very important. So as I spoke, there are 504 different second roll positions, because there are 24 ways to play opening roll and 21 different rolls as a second roll. So 24 times 21 is 500 different opening rolls. So I picked up 24 reasonable opening moves because I don't want to study the abnormal opening rolls, like, you know, people might play 3-4 as a 2-up. You know, very rare to see it. So I didn't include it. Or 3-2, some people play 3 down and 2 split. Also very abnormal, not common, so I did not include it. But most of the like normal plays are here, so I would say I cover like 95% plus opening moves in normal occasions, at least in the open divisions. And objective of this seminar is I'm gonna show you the bunch of rules, you know, on the second row, but remember the logic, reasoning, and the positional sense behind the rules. Just don't remember the rules, because you will forget, I will forget what the rule was, but if you understand the logic behind the rule, then it stays you, and you can apply even in the future, even after a few years, you still remember. And I also ignored mistakes within 0.01. It's very tiny mistake we can ignore. We can call it tie, so it doesn't matter. So that the rule can be, you know, simplified, right? And also, there are a few exceptions. Even though we apply the rule correctly, there are a few exceptions that is over 0.01 mistakes. But let's accept it. Otherwise, we have to make so many more, sub rules and exceptions and blah blah blah. So all those expressions can be, studied like independently, and you have to remember that as an expression. But the good news is maybe, I think it's like 5% or less than 5% as exceptions. So it's not a big deal anyway. It's not going to be like big mistakes anyway. And I have to thank to Jeremy Bagai, his excellent website about the mastering the second law. Basically, my entire PowerPoint is based on his writing. So yeah, basically I copied him. Okay. So I thank Jeremy Bagai, and I also led Understanding Opening Replies by Albert Steck. It was also excellent writing that influenced my lecture. So if you guys want to study even more, you can go their website and study more. Thank you. All right. So here, I'm going to introduce Jeremy Bagai's 12 rules. Okay. But unfortunately, well, okay. Good news is from rule number 7 to rule number 12, it's just about doubles, okay? Rule number 7 is just for how to play double ace. Rule number 8 is how to play double twos, etc., etc. So rule number 12 is like very, simple, right? So, but I don't have time to run or teach how to play doublet. So in this seminar, we simply focus non-doublet replies, okay? From 2-1 to 6-5. And there are 6 rules. Number 1, hit any blot outside your inner board. Number 2, play your naturals. Number 3, hit rules on your 5-point and 4 points. So those number 1, number 2, number 3 is listed in order of the priorities. So you have to apply number 1, if not number 2, if not number 3. So there's the priorities. And number 4, number 5, number 6 is no order. So first rule, hit any blot outside the inner board. That means, let me see how it looks. Oh, okay. It's a little bit annoying to look like this.
It is.
Okay, anyway, so this rule,
it's being streamed, so they can't hear you on the stream. So please, if you can stand over there.
Okay.
Yeah, they see exactly what you.
Is this a microphone here?
That's the microphone, but I don't know how long it goes.
Yeah.
That's as far as it goes. But you can point with the mouse over here.
Okay.
Sorry. We've had some difficulties here, but you can point with this. And
Yeah,
they
all
will
right,
see
all right.
it.
Yeah,
Sorry
yeah,
about that.
all right, no problem. I just like to use my body.
I know.
But anyway, this rule means, this rule is the most important rules. But I know like most championship players and advanced players knows about it. But it means if your opponent slot inside of the board, or he has a blot and outside the board, or he has a blot like this, then you have to hit. That's the rule number 1. Okay? Any blot outside your inner board, not here, but everywhere else, here or here or here. As soon as you see the blot, you have to hit, and that's the best play. And by the way, so this position 2-4, you hit with a 2, and what about the 4? Yeah, play from the back. Okay, so with this 4-2, you have to split with a 4 and hit with a deuce. And this is also important that most likely in the second row, you gotta play 1 from the midpoint and 1 from the backman. Then you are most likely safe. That's the best play. Okay, so we know we got a hit outside of, as soon as you see the blood, outside of your inner body you have to hit, okay. But that rule doesn't say how to hit, okay. So I'm gonna present this problem and next problem to how to hit. So 6-2 and 2-1, I know we're gonna hit, okay. So on the left hand side you have to hit with an ace, and right hand side you have to hit with a 6. Then what about the deuce?
Yeah. In the first problem, when you hit with the 1,
Yep.
the 2 would be 13-11.
Okay.
In the second problem,
Yeah.
when you hit with the 6,
Yeah.
you split the Backgammon 24-22.
Okay, excellent. Why?
Because I read Stick's rules also.
Okay.
Because you stripped the 8-point in the first one, right?
Yeah, he's
Right, so
right.
You need a builder.
He's
That's the
right.
first one.
So if you hit from the 8-point, you have to play come down from the mid. And if you hit from the midpoint, then you have to split on the 24. But why?
In the first position, as this gentleman said behind, you've now stripped your 8-point.
Yeah.
So you need a cover
Yeah,
to make the bar.
yeah,
In the second position, when you've left yourself exposed to 6s, when he comes in, you want to split your back checker so you have outfield coverage as well.
yeah, excellent answers too. So what he's saying is, after hit with an ace, you have no spare on the 8-point. Okay, so you have no cover from the 8-point. So you need to come down to add more coverage. So after 2-1, you have 4 and 6 to cover the bar point. But on the right hand side problem, after you hit with a 6, you still keep the 8-point. You still keep the spare on the 8, so you can cover with 1 and 6. So it's unnecessary to add more builders. It's too much. So now you want to split the backman, and it's good balance. You have already 6 and 1 to cover. Now it's time to split. That's the difference. Okay, so same principle can be applied if you roll like 4-1, or if you roll like 6-4, a kind of thing. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Okay, problem number 2. Same rule. You have to hit the outside, right? So you have to hit ace, or you have to hit the 6. And how do you play 5?
13-8.
Yeah. So on the left hand side, you gotta play 13-8. You need to add the spares on the 8-point. But on the right hand side, you have enough men in the zone. You have a spare on the 8, so you don't need to play 6-5 down as well. So as a result, on the right hand side, you have to hit twice, and you have like 9 checkers in the zone. So you have, not enough, but you have more materials to go for the blitz. So that's the difference. So far, so good?
Yep.
Good. Okay, so rule number 1 is very simple. You have to hit outside, okay? Rule number 2, you gotta play your naturals. Naturals are 3-1, 4-2, 5-3, and 6-1, and 6-5. Those strong rolls, you should just play it. Make those strong plays when you can. Unless you can hit, like number 1, yes?
On the previous, if you did a 3-1, you still hit, or you make your 5 point?
3-1, I actually you should make a 5-point. It's like exception.
Can you please repeat the question when they ask it next time so they can hear it?
Sure. Okay. So he asked me that if it was 3-1, would you still hit the outside, or you should make the 5-point? And my answer was you should make a 5-point. 3-1 is just too strong to forego. Okay. So naturals easy. You just make as the same as the opening roll. Is there any exceptions to this rule? Yes, there is. This is one of them. So the opener started with 4-5, split and down, and you roll 5-3. How do you play 5-3? That's the left-hand side problem. And right-hand side is a bonus problem. It's for the advanced players. It's actually a third row. The black started with 5-1, 5 down and 1 split. Then white rolled 4-5. Now black rolls 3-5. So the difference is black has 1-5 already played. You know, so there are fourth guy on the 8 point and the backmen are split. So, but let's focus on the left-hand side problem, which is second row. How do you play 3-5? According to the rule, by the way, you gotta play naturals, right? Naturals for the 3-5 is makes a 3 point. Is this an exception here?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, right. You're right. Now you gotta hit. You have to hit. You gotta unstack the midpoint and try to catch up in the development under lace, because if you simply make a 3 point, he could make a 5 point, or he could run, or he could roll some other numbers. Maybe makes the bar point, make the 5 point, make a 4 point. There are so many good numbers, so you have to take it away, and you have to hit rules and take advantage of his. He's developed faster, so you can't just copy it. You have to hit and distract him from doing more. That's the left-hand side. So this is an exception, one of the exceptions in playing natural rules, okay? And the right-hand side problem is a bonus problem, but here, since you have already developed, like you split the backman, you have more men in the zone, so now you don't need to really hit rules. You must be satisfied with what you have and makes a 3 point. All right. So we are already rule number 3. Hit rules on your 5 point and 4 points. And this rule is probably most important for beginners or intermediate because they don't hit enough. As soon as you see a blot on your 5 point or 4 point, you have to hit. I know you are afraid of getting hit back, but you can't just sit and wait as he's developing even further. So you have to hit 5 point or 4 point. That's important point, and it's worth fighting for. Okay, so I'm showing 6-3 here. You gotta hit with a 3 and you gotta come down with a 6. You know how many return shots I'm giving by playing this? It's easier to count how many misses because so few. Okay, so 2-1 and 3-1 and double ace and double 6. So only 6 numbers miss, meaning that I'm giving 30 return shots, but still it's correct to give to hit the 5 point. Yes.
Why then not play 24-18? What makes 13-7 better than 24-18?
Oh, that's interesting. Why? Because if you do that, you give him 35 return shots. Okay? Now even 1-2 and 1-3 hits, right? Every 5 hits, every 4 hits, every 1 hits, every 6 except double 6 hits. And double 2 hits, double 3 hits, double 4 hits, double 5 hits, so everything hits. Except double 6s. So actually you give a less number to do this. Good question. Okay. So once again, we know we got a hit on the 4 point, right? But what to do with other number? For example, on the left-hand side, we have 4-3. We know we got a hit with a 4, but what to do with the 3? Do we hit twice? Do we split the backman, or do we come down? What you gonna do? You come down? Nobody hits twice? Okay, you're right. You should come down and adding builders to cover the 4 point in case he miss. You should never go to ace point with the second row. The only row that you can you are allowed to hit twice is 4-1 on the right-hand side. So after hitting roos, you gotta play down from the mid, and only time double hit is right is 4-1 and go to the ace point, because the difference between left and right is after 4-3, your blot is on 4 point. That's a point you wanna make. So you wanna stay there. You don't wanna go to the ace point, right? But on the right side, after you hit with a 4, your blot is on the deuce point. This is not really the point you wanna make. So you're better off to hit twice and put 2 on the bar instead of trying to make the deuce point. Okay, but the left hand side, 4 point or 5 point is a good point to make. So you just stay there hoping that he misses and you make it. I can't hear. Excellent question, excellent question. So he is asking me if the blot, his blot is on the 5 point and I roll the 4-1. Now I hit with a 1, I'm not gonna go to the ace point, I stay there because I wanna make the 5 point. So I come down with a 4 and leaving, blot on the 5, not on the ace, because I wanna make the 5 point. Yes?
Would it make a difference if you had 10 in the zone?
Okay, that's a little bit too advanced. We can talk about it later. Okay, so we cover 3 rules. Number 1, you have to hit outside. Number 2, play your naturals. Number 3, you have to hit rules 5 point or 4 point. There are 3 more rules. Rule for 6x, and rule for 1x, how to play 1x, and rule for others, how to play 5-2, how to play 5-4 or 4-3 or 3-2. Okay, so first of all, let's start with rule for 1x. So 1x rule is meant to be either split or slot. So for rule number 4 to 6, we know that we can't hit outside, because if we do, we hit, right? And we know it's not naturals, and we know we can't hit loose on the 5 point or 4 point. So the possible candidates for 1x is you either slot on the 5 point or you split the backman. And as a result, the only time you slot is when he plays 2 down or he also plays slot. Otherwise, you have to split. So it says slot aces after the opponent slots or plays 2 down, otherwise split. This should make sense because you want to slot ace with 6-5, but not after the opponent has split. Let's say if he split, then of course you don't want to slot because now you are giving a double shot instead of a single shot, so it's too much. Also, if let's say he made a 3-1 in the opening and you rolled 1x, like 5-1, 4-1, you don't want to slot because if you get hit, the damage of getting hit is much higher because now you have he has a 5 point. So when he makes a point or he splits, then you don't want to slot. But when he 2 down or when he slot, then you also want to slot. Especially this position as an example, he started with a 4-3 and you roll 5-1. Now you really want to slot because his 4 is completely duplicated. Okay, so you're giving him a good 4, but 4 is good anyway. Think about it. 4-1, he can make a 5 point. 4-2, he can make a 4 point. 4-3, he can make a 5 point. 4-5, he can make a 5 point. 4-6, he can make a 4 point. So basically all the 4s are duplicated. And even 3-1, he can make a 5 point. So, okay, you are giving a 4, but it doesn't really matter because 4 is a good number anyway. So similar, kind happens a lot of times when he makes 2 down. One moment. Yeah. Okay, so now we move on to the rule for 6x. This is a very simple rule. So 6x has 3 numbers, 6-2 or 6-3 or 6-4, because 6-1 and 6-5 are natural, so you should just play natural. And 6-2 and 6-3, you should play step up and down. And 6-4, you should make a deuce point as a default play. Okay, there are lots of exceptions, But default play is for 6-2 and 6-3 as split and down, and 6-4 you should make this point. And it is interesting. Let me explain a little bit. Okay, the opening row, there's a 6-4, yeah? And opening 6-4, you have 3 different plays. You can make this point, you can run, or you can split and down. And those plays are equal. It doesn't matter which, you can choose, depends on your mood, right? But the replies, the running play 6-4 to 14, 24 to 14, decrease its value significantly as a reply. Why? Why it's so often wrong to run to the 14? What's the difference between opening and second row? Yes?
You're behind in the race.
Yes, good answer. Yes. In the opening, if you roll a 6-4, you're up 10 pips. But in the replies, if you roll a 6-4, you are not up 10 pips. You're probably up 2 pips maybe, on average, or 3 pips, whatever. So you're not up as much as in the opening roll. So the value of running, the merit of running play is you're up in the race. That's why you want to choose a 6-4 as a run. But in the second roll, it's often incorrect because you are not up in the race. Okay. Anyway, so 6-2, 6-3 is split and down, and 6-4 makes the deuce point is a default play. But we're gonna show sub rules and exceptions. Okay. Important sub rule is when he has builders on his outfield, like 9 point or 10 point, you want to pass it. Okay, run pass down or run pass your forfeit 8 point, meaning that if he has extra checkers on the 8 point, force checkers on the 8 point, you want to pass the 8 point as well. Okay, so when she has 3 or 4 builders aiming to make the bar point, you don't want to stay on the bar point. You want to run. You want to pass the builders, as shown in the left-hand side and right-hand side. Okay, he has 2 builders here. You want to escape. He has 3 builders here. You want to escape. Okay, so let me show you an example. I'm showing you 2 different examples. One, white started with 1-5. And second one, white started with 2-5. Okay, one of them is clearly right to play 24 to 16. Okay, and the other one is clearly right to, not clearly, but other one is very close to play 1 split and 2 down. Which one is which? Yes?
It's better to play 2 down when he splits with the 2.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's slightly fewer shots.
Mm-hmm. Right answer, great. So on the left-hand side, it's clearly correct to go to 16 points, not staying and play 2 down. Okay? The reason behind is, so if you 2 down on the left-hand side, it gives her or him 3-6 and 5-4 and 6-4 to hit. So 6 numbers you are giving away, right? On right hand side, it's too many. But on right hand side, you are not giving away that much because, okay, you'll be hit with 2-6 and 4-6. So only 4 numbers to get hit. And also noted that 6-4 is duplicated. Now white can make 6-4. White can make the bar point with a 6-4 anyway. So 6-4 is a good number regardless. So on the right hand side, left hand side, however, you are giving 3-6, 5-4, and 6-4 and 6-5 to make a bar point. So technically you are giving like 8 good numbers. And here you are giving 2-6 and 4-6, and that's it, because 4-6 is duplicate as well. And double 2 and double 4 you will be hit, but those numbers are good roll anyway again. So on the right hand side, it's very small, but it's actually correct to 6 out and 2 down. What I'm trying to say here is when he has split with deuce, when he has blood on the 3 point, 11 point is actually a little bit safer than usual. Why? Because 3-5 is blocked. Okay, So when he has a 3 and you have 11, this guy is a little bit safer in general because 3, 5 is blocked. So the only roll he can hit with 2, 6. So it's added bonus. Okay, problem number 6. How to play 6-4. I called it 6-4 special. Number 1. So I said 6-4, the default play should be make the deuce point. Well, actually, if you could hit the 3 point, you have to hit the 3 point. I'm showing 2 examples here. One is when white started with 2-5, the other one is white started with 2-3. And both of them are right to hit on the 3 point. However, one of them is clearly right to hit the 3 point. The other one is still right, but like smaller margin, which is clearly right.
The left side.
The right side, yes. The right side is clearly correct. Yeah, it's correct for both positions to hit loose, but the error margin is much bigger on the right. You have to really hit on the 3 point because you know why? Because white has extra builders on the 3, so it's more important for the right side to take away his road. Otherwise, he's gonna use the builders to make 5 point, 4 point, bar point. He can do a lot of things with the block. Okay, so you have extra motivation or incentive to hit the 3 point. I mean, both of them are right to hit the 3 point, but I'm saying that you have to pay attention to the details. You have to pay attention to the builders of him. And this is, this theory or sense of the, game can be applied in many different stages of the game, stage of the opening roll. Okay, so 64 special, number 2. So I'm showing 4 different positions. First one, white started with 3-1. Second one, started with 4-2, now 5-3, and 6-4. And black roll 6-4. So, which 6-4 is run and which 6-4 is point? I'm gonna give you a hint. One of them, only one of them, is right to run, and the rest is right to make the point. Okay, Lindgren?
You said when he's got his 5 point made, you run?
Yeah, and why?
Because it's a good priming point. You want to hop the main 5 point.
Yeah, okay, you're very good, thank you. So everything is point except 3 points, 3-1 and 6-4. While 6-4 in the opening can be played in 3 ways, the replace tend to be a 2 point. The main reason you are behind the race, as I already explained. And if you take a look at the error margin here, so after 3-1, it's actually right to go for the race because you are still up in the race and you don't want to be stuck against 5 points. I mean, he started a good priming point, so you want to escape already, right? But as the point devalues to 4 point and 3 point, 2 point, he will be up more in the race and his priming potential will be decreased. So you have less incentive to go for the run. For example, after he makes a 6-4 with a 2 point, right? So he has no priming value whatsoever. I mean, less, not never be no, but less priming value. And he's up 10 pips already. So it doesn't make sense at all to go for the race. You are not even up in the race and he doesn't even priming you. So the error margin for running with 6-4 after 6-4 is big. It's a big mistake, 6% mistake. And after 5-3, it's only 5%. After 4-2, it's like very close. It's actually you can run. And with 3-1, actually right to go for the race. Okay. Candace? Are we finished or
Keep going.
can we do a little bit more? Okay, so I was given 30 minutes and it's already past 30 minutes, but we can do a little bit more.
31 minutes.
Okay. Yeah, but it's gonna be more like
It's fine, it's
10 more
fine,
minutes or
it's
whatever.
fine.
So the last rule, rule number 6, rule for others, not 6x, not 1x, but you roll 3-2, 4-3, 5-2, or 5-4. Okay, those default plays are split and down. Okay, like 3-4 like this or 3-2 like this. Okay, but there are several sub rules and exceptions, and I'm showing you one by one. One of the rules, you probably well known, but after he rolled with 6-2, 6-3, 6-4, and you roll 5-4, 5-2, you got a hit. You got a hit with a 5, then you should split the other one. Or this one, you roll 5-2, you got a hit with a 5, then you split with the other one. This play is served as a tempo play because he has many builders, so you wanna stop him from doing the harm. Okay, so disrupting your opponent's ability to make a key point and breaking the communication. Like if you put him on the bar, then he has to roll a 7 to make the bar point. If you don't hit, he has just rolled on 6 to make the bar point, which is a very important point. So you have to hit and you stop him from doing so. Again, I'm trying to compare two positions. One of them is clearly right hit the ace point, and the other one is tied. It's still right to hit the ace point, but it's very close. Which one is which? Which one is clearly right to hit the ace point? By the way, I'm calling this position as a 9-point builder special because when he has a 9-point as a builder, then something happens. All right, so which one is clearly right to hit a 5-point? Oh, sorry, ace point. Yeah, this one. Why?
Better position.
Better position builders than that.
Yeah. Everybody's right. So on the left-hand side, it's correct, but it's very tiny margin, like it's tied with not hitting. But on the right-hand side, it's clearly right to hit the 5-point because the 22-point is under the gun. Now he has 3 builders to make the 3-point. And also, just saying that 9-point is better builder. So when he has a better builder, you have more incentive to hit and distract him from doing, making a point, doing some good things, okay? So whenever you see a 9-point, you feel like, oh, I have to act, I have to do something, okay? To emphasize that point, I'm showing problem number 9. So I'm showing 3 different positions. On left-hand side, he started with 1-2, and in the middle, he started with 1-4, and on the right, 1-5, and you roll 4-3 each of them, okay? And one of them is clearly right to hit on the deuce point, and one of them is tied, and one of them is actually wrong to hit the deuce point. I want to hear the answer from advanced players or beginners. Yes?
Number 2. The middle one is the strongest.
Oh, middle one, yes. You're right. Okay. So middle one, after 4-1, and again, he has a builder on the 9-point. Whenever he has a builder on the 9-point, you have a good incentive to hit rules because 9-point is very strong builder. And as a result, this is clearly right, like by 3%. And after 2-1, let's say white started with 2-1 and build on the 11-point. It's still right, but very tiny margin. After 5-1, he has no builders, so you have like much less incentive to hit blues on the deuce point. You not really want to hit the deuce point. It's like emergency play. So after 5-1, you actually should not hit loose on the deuce point, and instead you should either 2 up or split and down or 2 down, yeah, whatever, but not deuce point. Okay, I think I have 2 more positions. So problem number 10. So 3-2. And 3-2 default play is split and down. And I'm showing 4 different positions after making a 5-point, a 4-point, or 3-point, and deuce point, okay? And one of them is, well, okay, most of them are split and down, okay? 3 of them are split and down, but one of them is not. Which one is not split and down? Yeah, it's probably too easy. But everything is split except 6-4, making deuce point, and 3-2. But you should always split against point making, like 3-1, 4-2, 5-3, 6-1, because you don't want to be primed. However, after 6-4, it's not a priming play, so you will not be afraid of, being primed. So you have much less incentive to split. Right. So you should go 2 down and go for your own prime. So once again, if he has a 5-point, it has the best priming value. So your incentive to split is highest. So the error margin not to do so is almost 4%, 3%, 1%, and actually against 6-4, you should not split, but you should try 2 down. So I'm trying to say a 6-4 deuce point in the opening is not a priming play. So you have to play accordingly. Okay, this is a final rule. So sometimes your opponent plays 2 down, and you also roll 2 down. Okay, there are 4 plays: 4-3, 3-2, 5-2, 5-4. Okay, 4 down plays. Okay, and he rolls down, and he plays 2 down. And should I play 2 down or should I play split? For example, white rolled 4-3 and made 2 down, and black rolled 4-3, and he can also play 2 down or he can also split, okay? And the rules here is there's actually an order of the strength of the 2 down plays. The strongest 2 down is 4-3, because apparently you have, best builders and you have most numbers to make, 5-point, 4-point, bar point, or 9-point, or 10-point. So that's the strongest 2 down. And the second strongest one is 3-2, 2 down. And the weakest one and 5-2 and 5-4. Okay. Actually, so if you rolled same strength or stronger 2 down, you should mirror the play. But if you are inferior 2 down, for example, he rolled 4-3, which is the strongest. So only chance that you should also play 2 down is when you roll 4-3. But let's say you roll 5-2, that's the weakest. So you can't copy him. You should split and distract him from making a point. Or you roll 3-2, which is also weaker than 4-3. So you should not copy him. You should split. Okay? Let's do some practice and wrap up the lecture. So just 5-4, white roll 2 down, and black roll 4-3. 5-4 is weakest 2 down play, and what you rolled is 4-3 is the strongest 2 down play. So you can actually mirror him because you have an advantage. Your 4-3 is stronger than 5-4, so you should play 2 down. Okay, in the middle, he rolled 3-2, but you also rolled 3-2, which is obviously equally strong. So you should play 2 down as well. You have to mirror because you have, equally strong or stronger plays, then you should play 2 down. And on right hand side, he played 5-2, and you rolled 5-4. That's a little bit complicated, but 5-2 and 5-4 are equal strengths. So you should still mirror what he did, and you should play 2 down. All right, so that's it about my seminar. Thank you for listening.
you very
Thank you.
much. Let me just go back one slide. Are you going to be signing books?
Oh yeah. Okay. So Kawajoy Co is selling books. So if you are interested in buying it, you know, buy it and come to me. I'm happy to sign it whenever you want to.